Top of the morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, preparing you for a better week ahead. Most people believe that there is more to humanity and reality than meets the eye, specifically regarding things we rush to call religion, but which are fundamentally spirituality. Many people, even those not religious, have a sense of humanity and reality that may be referenced as spirituality. In my first episode of Monday with Friday, I said everybody lives by faith. Some live by what I called reflexive faith, wherein we sit on a chair, for example, without even questioning whether it would hold us, or on an aircraft, trusting, faithing that it would land us where, when, and how we expect it to. But there are others of us who live by what I call reflective faith, wherein we contemplate, reflect on things spiritual, things beyond the natural. I think we are all spiritual, and the less we recognize, accept, and live into that fact, the more disordered, disfigured, and distorted our lives are set to be, and we make other people's lives more miserable than they ought to be. Yesterday, Christians worldwide observed and celebrated Pentecost. We reflected on an event captured by the historian named Luke in his book, The Acts of the Apostles. Something significant that became the engine of Christians' reflective faith happened. 120 people were gathered in a room when a mighty sound like a hurricane or a tornado swept through it, and people saw what seemed to them as plumes or flames of fire dropping on each person, yet not burning them. It became more curious. These 120 people began speaking in other languages, not, for any Pentecostal listening to me, in other tongues. These were actual languages, dialectoi, the Greek from which we get the English dialects. This was not glossolalia, literally babbling in incomprehensible non-language ecstasy that happens in many Pentecostal and other kinds of churches that even the Apostle Paul disfavors, prioritizing known and intelligible language above that kind of tongues. There's a rare phenomenon wherein some people suffering some kind of trauma or coming out of a lengthy coma emerge with an accent foreign to their usual one, or even with a foreign but recognizable language they have never spoken before and have never learned. Now, anybody ready to dismiss as nonsense this event that Dr. Luke captures in the book of Acts should think twice. Persons from about 15 different cultures, nations, and languages, ethnicities, who had converged on that cramped city of Jerusalem for a special festival, overheard these 120 people speaking in their languages, leaving them astounded. Christians view this event as the arrival of the Holy Spirit, God's own self in the world. Not for the first time, obviously, but in a peculiar, powerful, and personal way. Jesus once said that the Spirit is like the wind, blowing where it wants, and nobody can stop it. This challenges the position that some Christians hold, thinking that they alone have a monopoly on the Holy Spirit, a monopoly on God. They are quite wrong. This is why religious tribalism and bigotry and competitiveness and supremacy are not only all wrong, but pointless, foolish, and manifestly dangerous and destructive. Luke reports that when folks heard these ordinary and untrained Galileans speaking different languages, they thought they were drunk, whereupon the Apostle Peter was moved to an apologetic, a defense, an explanation of what was really happening. I'd like to appeal to all of you viewers, whether Christian or not, about some universal and urgent lessons for our time from this event. I suggest that the practice of living by faith, be it reflexive or reflective faith, alerts all of us to our spirituality. For is it not a kind of spiritual thing to sit on a plane we did not see being manufactured, piloted by persons we do not know, whom we did not see being trained, working in ways we do not understand? So if we have this kind of faith in people and things, why would we not have faith in a reality, spiritual reality, beyond what we can see, touch, handle, and feel. I suggest that this requires we pursue three things: unity, community, and clarity. Unity, because we humans all share the same space with others, whether village, town, city, country, or world. We either share it all together in unity or die one by one in disunity. How could Israel and Palestine and the British in the main and others who joined the British to consign the Israelis and Palestinians to this 75-year-old continuing fiasco have all missed this? Then we should pursue community, learning to speak each other's language. We may not understand the language that immigrants or refugees or foreigners speak, but we should speak to them the languages of kindness, welcome, humanity, fairness, value, dignity, and space. We all share it together. And look, we cannot build community on lies, on fabrications, on deceptions, on demagoguery. We only destroy community that way. Finally, we must pursue clarity. We need to know who we are and what holds all of us together and gives us purpose for living. As Peter was able to correct people's misconception of who they were, saying, hey, we're not drunk, we're just experiencing a new purpose for living. We're just experiencing being empowered for new community. Just like that, we too should accept that challenge today for ourselves and seek new purpose for living and new power for community and living in community. Where can we find it in this war-torn, hate-filled, race-baiting, political and religious polarities of a world in which we live? We can find it just where those 120 people found it. In the Spirit of God, the unseen power of the mysterious supernatural, which most religious and spiritual people call God. We Christians locate this in Jesus Christ. But the progressive Christians among us concede that God is limitless and works in modes, avenues, and ways that we are yet to accept, yet to discover, or may never ever discover. So go on. Find your inner spirituality. Find your spirit thirsty for community, for unity, for clarity. Find your God, for God's Spirit is all around us and ready to come within us. Welcome that Spirit in you. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again soon. Happy Monday, all the way to Friday.